This will be video response for class number 10, Gigi Wang's guest lecture. And this guest lecture was really interesting. It caught my interest immediately just based on the career path of Wang. Worked in essentially big Fortune 500 companies for a few years and then went to tech. And I envisioned myself doing the same thing, something along the lines of consulting or investment banking for a few years at a big, large-scale bulge bracket company, and then taking my skills and applying them directly to an in-house strategy consultant at a tech company. And ideally this will work out for me. And then now just kind of diving into more of the lecture material. So the thing that really interested me in this lecture was essentially the whole discourse on business models and how they're changing, and essentially always changing. And when they change, they put people out of business and completely change the methods of operation. Thus, businesses must, especially in this day and age, are forced to be very diverse and they have to be adaptable. Because if not, some new technology is going to come out and is going to revolutionize the business models in place in order to sell the product. And you will, if you can't adopt it, you will essentially go out of business. And then we saw this first notably with essentially the internet boom, internet revolution in the 90s. And this conversation was really important because actually currently I'm working on a consulting project with our client who is facing a similar problem. Our task is to find out a best approach for our client to enter the internet markets and find out new business models given the new day and age, because they're kind of an old company who is currently mostly operating with indirect offline and direct offline distribution channels, and thus they're really not tapping the whole internet market. So this lecture really did apply to the project I'm working on, so it really interests me in that sense. And what it really made me think about in terms of the project I'm working on is it really helps you realize how actually hard it is to be a company that has to be adaptable in order to be able to change a business model and adapt to new technology. But what's I believe is the most important is to be a forefront in that field. Be a company that essentially sets the new business model and sets that new standard for everyone to follow. And then if you can be innovative like that, I feel like that is one of the biggest keys to success in this day and age. And this is essentially was touched on lecture. For instance, like collecting data from like targeted advertising that Google does, collect information. And that is, since this lecture really related to my consulting project I'm working on, it really interested me. I really enjoyed it, and this wraps up this video response.